I really, really wanted to like Christmas with the Campbells. There were several reasons why I could have loved this, but unfortunately, it just didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because I don't feel like the film knows what kind of film it wants to be. And I'll talk about that in a moment. This was directed by Clare Niederpruem. I apologize if I've mispronounced that. This was released in 2022. And the reason, well, one of the two reasons I was desperate to watch it. The first is that I just love Christmas films. The second is that I love George Wendt and I love Julia Duffy. So straight away, I knew there would be at least something about this that I like. But unfortunately, I didn't particularly love their characters. Nothing wrong with the performances, but their characters I just didn't particularly like. And the film is about a woman called Jessie, played by Brittany Snow, and she actually goes to stay with the Campbells, who are the parents of her recently ex boyfriend. And that sounds very awkward, but they were planning on going there for Christmas anyway. She has nowhere else to go. The parents said, just come along. And I think that was really lovely. And I did like that of them. I thought that was a nice thing for them to do. Once we got there, though, I realized that things just weren't what the film was set up to be. Because, on the one hand, and pretty much throughout the film, it does feel like it's trying to be a classic Christmas rom com. Think Hallmark, Lifetime, Real One, and that's kind of what it felt like it was going to be. And throughout it, it does have these various key plot points and narrative devices that make it feel like that's what they were trying to do. However, the vocabulary is definitely not a Hallmark film, put it that way. It's not explicit completely, but it's quite raunchy, and we have F bombs every now and then. And I don't personally have a problem with that if that's what the kind of film is. But because a lot of it feels like a classic Christmas rom com, which are meant to be sickly sweet, comforting, easy to watch, very sensible, very inoffensive. I'm not offended by these words, but some people might be. It's giving mixed messages about the kind of film this is and who it's for. There's not enough of that for me to say this is a raunchy comedy. And they're kind of blending sweet classic Christmas rom com with raunchy comedy, but they're two opposing styles and they don't work well together. So the film doesn't work in that sense because we're getting two different things that would appeal to two different people. Certainly, it may appeal to the same person at the same time, but generally, you're going to be in the mood for either one or the other, and they're opposing, and it doesn't work. And it's not so much that it's uncomfortable to hear swearing and things. I watch a lot of 18 rated horror films. I'm very much used to language like that in films. But when you're sitting down watching a sickly sweet Christmas romance, which is exactly what it feels like for a lot of the film, and then you get every now and then just some kind of reference to somewhat explicit intimate activities and swearing when it's not necessary. It doesn't work with this kind of film. It either needed to be a full on raunchy Christmas comedy or it needed to stick with the classic Christmas rom com. Those two don't combine. And honestly, it doesn't work. It really does not work. That aside, the narrative is okay. It does have the classic Christmas rom com of our female protagonist going through a rough patch with her relationship, meeting another potential romantic interest, set on the backdrop of Christmas. And it is quite festive, so I'll give it that. The festivities are pretty good. So that worked well, but everything else just kind of fell flat. The acting is absolutely fine. I think they did a decent enough job with the story that they had. We also have Justin Long as David and Alex Moffat as Shawn. No problems with the casting, no problems with the acting. I did enjoy watching Julia Duffy and George Wendt, even if I didn't love their characters, but the film completely let itself down by trying not hard enough to be one or the other, and trying too hard to, I guess, break the mold, but they don't realise that you can't put two opposing themes together. The theme of sweet, sickly, classic Christmas rom-com and the theme of raunchy Christmas comedy. They don't combine, and there is a reason for that. So unfortunately, it's not very good. If you feel like you wouldn't mind the two combined, then it might be for you. But personally, I don't think it works very well at all. I'm really disappointed.